I really, really hate you. Okay, not really. That's just what we're going to talk about today on our live. So jump in, say hello, tell me where you're from. We're going to talk about what you do if your child says they hate you and how you can handle it, because this is a topic I get questioned about a lot, and I'm going to share a personal story. But before I get started on all of this, I just want to say thank you to all of you who have been supportive of me and what I'm doing with trying to get out the whole concept of common sense parenting. Yesterday, I went over 500,000 total followers on all my social media platforms. Majority of it being Facebook, obviously, and then Instagram and YouTube. So I'm very thankful because it motivates me, it inspires me, and your comments and your feedback really help me tremendously to stay focused and give you the content that you're asking for and you need. And I do get a lot of questions and comments on my reels. So thank you for that. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing because I have a passion for this. All right, let's get in here on this. Let me share a personal story. So when I was in 10th grade, now I was a pretty good kid. I'm a middle kid, rule follower, people pleaser, all that stuff. And for some reason, my mother, I got angry at her. And it was, I don't even remember what it was, honestly. She wouldn't let me go somewhere or do something I wanted to do. I don't know. Anyway, I remember very clearly. I looked at her and I said, I hate you. And I went in my room and slammed the door. Both things which are totally out of character for me. Okay, but our kids can be good kids and have tough moments. Now here's what my mother did. Nothing. Didn't say a word, didn't come in after me to say, what do you think you're doing? Not a word. She said nothing. And I stayed in my room. And I felt bad, obviously, for what I did, but, I was angry at her. She was still mean. And then my father came home from work. Now, in our household, we were not spanked, we were not yelled at. I mean, sometimes our mom would yell, but that was mostly my brothers. But it was a very calm, positive, loving household. But my father came home from work, and my mother must have said to him what happened, because all of a sudden there was a knock at my door, because this had happened like after school. And he came in and he said, your mother told me what happened. And I just kind of looked at him and he said, don't ever do that again. And don't you ever slam your door again. Do you hear me? I said, yes. He said, and go apologize to your mother. Which I did, because I felt bad, right? Now, a couple things here. The household I grew up in and the generation I grew up in, you had total respect for your parents. You didn't argue back. You didn't sass them back. When they asked you to do something, you did it. You didn't have to compromise, negotiate, tell them how you felt about everything, because really they weren't interested in how you felt. They wanted you to do stuff, do it. I mean, yes, of course they cared, but, they're the parent. They're in charge. Do what I tell you. That's the way we were raised. So that never happened again. I can promise you, because my father said, don't ever do it again. Yes, sir, won't ever happen again. But here's the other thing. My mother should have handled that instantly. Because one of the things I tell you all the time is, handle things immediately. You don't let them slide. Now, she needed to give me time to calm down, and probably her too, right? Because she was sure not have a camper about that. However, she went and have my dad do it. So the signal that we got as children, because that happened frequently, and she would even say to us sometimes, you wait till your father gets home, you're going to be in big trouble. Which told us that she didn't have the power. He did. He was the enforcer. And that led to some issues because, she would get challenged by 4 kids, and she was overwhelmed sometimes. And a beautiful, sweet mom. Don't get me wrong, she was wonderful. But if that's the situation in your house, whoever this happens to, needs to handle it. Not wait till later till someone else comes home and is like the enforcer. Okay? That's just like a little sidebar there. All right. Hello to everybody coming in. So here's what happens. One time my son said that to me. I think he was little. My children did not say that to me. They were raised to know that they had to respect their parents. And I don't know, one of my, remember which one it was, maybe 4 or 5, and said, I hate you. And I looked at him and said, it's okay. I'm not really fond of your behavior right now. You can go to your room. Couple things here. Let's talk about that scenario. Number 1, I separated the child from their behavior. Okay? I stayed calm. I said, okay. Okay, I'm not really fond of your behavior right now either. There's my child, there's their behavior. You always keep the separation between the two. So we want to focus on the behavior. I didn't want to say, like, I can't believe you're talking to me like this, or you're bad, your behavior is bad. I just said, I'm not fond of your behavior. You can go to your room. Because I didn't tolerate disrespect. I did not want to engage at that point. My child was just disrespectful to me, and I am big on respect. My child was disrespectful. I'm not dealing with that. Go to your room. Chill. Now, a little bit later, he came out and apologized, and I was forgotten. We didn't go into long discussions. We didn't analyze it. We didn't talk about why he was feeling. Listen, he was angry at me for something. I wouldn't let him have to or take him somewhere. And he said, I hate you. When children are reacting like that to you, they obviously feel safe enough to say that to you because, you're the parent and they feel safe enough to do that. However, it's still disrespect. And they need to learn at a very young age it's not tolerated. They can be angry all they want because that's where that's coming from. That I hate you is a response, a reaction to their anger, their emotion of anger, and they spot out, I hate you. But you can't allow that. So you can react in different ways. You can say different things, and we're going to talk about some of those. So for me, I just said, okay. I mean, let's get off my nose. A lot of people take it personally. Please don't. It's not about you. It's about your child's emotion. They love you. They know they love you. They know you love them. They're just angry in the moment. Now, depending on their age, and if they're little, you can call them on it and say, you know what, that hurts my feelings, because sometimes it does. You can say, it hurts my feelings, or you can say, it's okay that you're angry, but it's not okay that you talk to me that way. You want to try that again? Okay, give them the opportunity to go, oh, I'm sorry, because now you put down that boundary. You've said, it's okay. I validate your feeling. You're allowed to be angry. However, you are not allowed to act that way or talk that way. And why it's so important that you teach that from a young age is because they're going to be in the real world someday. They can be angry about things, but they don't have the right to spout off at people because they're angry. They need to learn self-control and emotional regulation, right? You've got to teach them from the time they're young. Now, in my case, my son was older. I said, go to your room. I'm not tolerating disrespect. And I'm not having a big discussion. Like I said, go to your room. He came out and he apologized because he knew he was wrong. And then we talked about it. So it's certainly okay to have that discussion after the fact, like, hey, what was going on? What are you upset about? Can we talk about it for a minute? Again, no long discussions, just short, sweet, to the point. Now, with your older children, your 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds, you can go into more discussion, but your younger children, they don't want to hear all this discussion. And it's not sinking in, right? So you need to just be short, sweet, to the point, ask direct questions, get to the bottom of why they were upset. If they say, well, I'm upset because you wouldn't let me go with my friend somewhere. Okay, I understand you're upset, but I'm your parent. It's my job to keep you safe. I wasn't comfortable with that situation. Boom, end of discussion. They don't have to be okay with it. That's what being a parent is. Being a parent is taking that position that's not always like fun, right? Or makes your child happy. And it's not your job to make your child happy all the time. Now, I just had a follower comment the other day, and I thought this was really insightful and powerful. She said she had a friend who had 2 parents who were psychologists, and anytime something happened, they would just talk to him so much about how he felt about everything. And he said, I wish they would just spank me and let me go play. Okay, they don't want to hear all that. You can have quick, short, sweet discussions. Move on. You don't hold a grudge against them. You don't say, I'm so upset you told me you hated me. None of that. It's like, okay. Or do this. Walk away. I just showed a couple rules about this the other day. Walk away. You don't have to engage it. You do not have to tolerate disrespect. You're the parent. They should be respecting you. So if your child says to you, I hate you, turn around and walk away. There's a message you've sent. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. And you're just saying, nothing. There's no engagement. They know what they're doing wrong. They're not stupid, right? These kids are very, very, very savvy and very smart and sometimes very manipulative. Even the best kids. Yeah, trust me. Even your best kid, trust me. Okay, so they lie too. And that's a whole nother thing. But you need to stay strong in this. Just turn around and walk away. I mean, if somebody walked up to you in work or outside and said, I hate you, would you going to stand there and have a discussion? No. Hopefully you're going to turn around and walk away. Why would you waste your energy on that conversation? Same thing with your child. You can just turn around and say, go to your room, and you walk away, or just walk away. Don't engage in it, okay? There's no need for that. All right, so we're almost to the end here. Let me look here. That's some of the comments where everybody's coming in from. All right, let's look here. So, hey, Linda. Okay. Thanks, everybody, from telling me where you're from. I love this. Okay. California. Okay. I must confess. Okay. Estelle, this is sweet, Estelle. Your daughter never said she hated you, and if she had, you would have crumbled into self-pity, a power of self-pity, and cried your eyes out. Well, see, that's because you're taking it personal, and that's what a lot of people do, unfortunately, is they make it about them, and it's not about them. It's just about their child's anger. But I get it, because your first instinct is like, oh, what? What? You hate me? Everything I do for you, I feed you, I clothe you, I love you. I know, it's first instinct because you feel bad. It's like initially like a shock. But when you understand it's not about you, it's about their anger, you can kind of remember your child and your behavior, you keep separating, right? So it's about the child's behavior. And it's okay to call them on it and say your behavior is unacceptable. I'm your parent, you speak to me with respect. Go to your room. Or if you're out in public, you know, when we get home, you're losing a privilege. Whatever it is that you're going to do, they have to have immediate consequences for that behavior after everything's calmed down. So you don't engage in those discussions in the heat of the moment when you're maybe shocked or upset that they've said something like that to you, or they're so angry at you because that's why they said it. Wait till Ray comes down, then you have a rational discussion about it. Okay. Hey, I love this. Harrisburg, PA. Hey, Patricia, Patty Ann. I'm from Pennsylvania, girl. I've driven through Harrisburg many, many, many times. Okay. Oh, you're sending it to somebody. Okay, you're sending it to somebody to watch. Good. Okay, let's see this one. Okay. How do I get my daughter at 8 to listen when Tony get this must to listen at grandparents' places? Okay. From what I'm understanding, you're saying, how do you get your 8-year-old daughter to listen? You tell her she needs to clean up her mess or listen to her grandparents' house. Is that what it is? When you go to visit, you just go, it's time to clean up. I'm going to put the timer on. Let's get this done. If she doesn't clean up, you say, right now, you need to get this done, or this is going to happen. And you have a consequence. So if you're at your grandparents, she's at her grandparents. Now, I'm assuming you're there. Michelle, if I'm getting this wrong, let me know. I'm assuming you're at the grandparents and she's not listening to you. If she's at the grandparents and the grandparents are there and she's not listening, they need to instill consequences. And I will tell you, my role as a grandparent is if my grandkids are here and their parents are not, I'm in charge. I'm in charge. If they're in my house, I'm in charge. Even if their parents are here and not doing anything about it, I will. I'll give parents a chance to jump in. And if they don't hear it or they're distracted, I'm taking over because this is my house, my rules. Okay. They need to respect me as a grandparent. If I'm at someone else's house and my children are like grandparents' house and my children are misbehaving, I'm calling them on it, right? But if I'm not there, the grandparents have a right to handle it. So in this case, you need to instill consequences. If you're there and your child refuses to clean up, you say, we're not leaving until you clean up. And when we get home, this is going to happen. And immediately, as soon as you go home, that happens. But they have to understand, these are the boundaries. You are choosing. Remember, I always say this, that word choosing or your choice, they need to understand that it was their behavior that caused their consequence. They're accountable for that, not you. So you instill a consequence, whether you're going to lose a privilege, taking away, half an hour of screen time, you're not going to go to the birthday party you were supposed to go to on Saturday, whatever it is, you instill it and you stick to it. If you say it, you mean it, you follow through. Okay? I hope that helped. If not, you can just send me a DM. All right, everybody. Time's up. Listen, if you're not already subscribing to the Pam Show on YouTube, please do. The first episode went up last week on Tuesday. Then there was a Thursday, shorter one, and just on Tuesday coming up tomorrow, and then Thursday. I'm going to go into this topic again in a little more detail. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people who aren't on Facebook. I can't imagine people not on Facebook. Anyway, okay, so a lot of times I'll take what I've done on Facebook and I'll transfer over to YouTube as well. So anyway, I appreciate you all again. If you've not checked out my new ebook, the Quick Fix Tips, 75 Quick Fix Tips, check it out. I think I've sold 60 copies in the last 2 weeks. And I'm actually at work on the next ebook in the Pam in My Pocket collection. So appreciate your support. Remember, guys, hug and love your baby. Bye, y'all.